Well, if you've seen some of my recent videos, I'm calling people out for being toxic and perhaps a little too hateful when they don't need to be. So I might be charged with hypocrisy, but I'm sorry, I gotta go with my honest feelings. Now, I am losing a lot of hope with James Gunn and Superman. They are changing and altering things, and I'm just a little suspicious. That said, I do think part of the story will be fine. I think Lois Lane, well cast. She looks great. But yeah, a lot of this thing just looks like junk and recycled junk at that. So the costume is terrible. I mean, the lead choice could have been a lot better. He just feels like knockoff Henry Cavill. Many issues. Although I was positive with some of the costumes, I will admit, I think I was being a little bit too nice to the Guy Gardner outfit. That looked really terrible. But let's get to it. Finally, they revealed him. They revealed Jimmy Olsen, and shockingly, some people are actually pretty positive about this, and I will have to be the negative person here. So let's hear Mr. H gush about Jimmy. Oh, by the way, Mr. H doesn't even like comic books. He doesn't like superhero films, but somehow now he's a Star Wars and Superman expert. Suddenly that just happened out of nowhere.
Fist in the air, big old smile, very, very soft features. It's that, yeah, I guess sort of almost like naivety. Do you know what I mean? Which I feel like, Jimmy Olsen needs. This character needs that sort of, yeah, like naivety element. So I like that. I think he's a good pick, actually. I think he's a really good pick. Just from an aesthetic point of view, I've never.
Well, it's hilarious that Mr. H was reviewing the original comics and noticed, oh, Jimmy's blonde. Okay, he's not blonde, but he's a ginger. And most importantly, he's white. So I will give Mr. H reviews a few points. He did like Romulus, even though Romulus has a prominent black character. So he's not critical drinker racist. He's not even Mauler racist. But boy, he loves to get racial and the race baiting. He loves to get racial so many times. I'm like, all right, I get it. Listen, I criticize that the Woko is going too far on the race issue, but that guy loves to get into the race issue quite a lot. So he's a little suspicious. But as far as his critique and praise of Jimmy, I don't understand what the freak he's talking about. This character looks so radically different from the other versions. I'm not even sure what they're going for. This guy looks like Tom Holland. Are they trying to trick people to be like, hey, we got Spider Man in this? Is that what they're doing? He even looks like Han Solo. Is James Gunn trying to do a Han Solo thing? I don't know. And like, he just looks so weird. And although I do praise Snyder, I will say one of the really disappointing parts of BVS was Jimmy, and then spoilers, Jimmy got killed. Why did he kill Jimmy? I don't know. So if you want good Jimmy, go back to the original films, go back to Superman Returns. I didn't love the Jimmy in the cartoon, but that Jimmy was okay. Obviously, the Jimmy in the comics is the best. I think they've actually been pretty consistent with him in the comics. And although there's a lot in Justice League, which I know is very divisive, yes, Jimmy makes a cameo in the Justice League. Yeah, look out for that. So I think Jimmy has not been well treated. And again, to be brutal, even Snyder has not done the best with Jimmy. But holy cow, what the hell is this? And now they're just jam packing this thing. We've got all kinds of things to set up the Justice League, set up the new universe. Apparently, Supergirl will make a cameo. And again, I used to be excited for this thing, but now I'm just like, thing is just gonna be dreadful. Just get it over with. Let's just get it out there and move on. I'm still hopeful that maybe Swamp Thing will be really good. James Mangold is a genius. He's a cinematic tour de force, but man, a lot of this universe, I am just not interested in that announcement that that's going to be the new Booster Gold. It's just really insane. The nepotism, the favoritism, the lying, the gaslighting. Again, I still think James Gunn is talented, but man, I think this will just be below average, unfortunately. So, as a Superman fan, I'm really kind of sad. And I just find it weird that the fake fans are actually endorsing this, saying, guys, he got Jimmy right. At least he got Jimmy right.
Movies, animation, and gaming. So thoughts. Sorry, just scroll up. Thoughts on Skylar Gizondo's Gizondo? Skylar Gizondo's Jimmy Olsen. Personally, I think that's a good pick. I think that there is a certain air of, as I've said before, like naivety, a sort of innocence type deal, I guess. It's just very soft, sort of features-wise, not sort of, there's been a hell of a lot of comic book movies which are...
I just am not clear what the hell he's babbling about. Now, again, be clear, Mr. H Reviews does know comics with Aliens and Predator, but outside of that, when he tries to play the expert or the lore expert and the gatekeeper, he just sounds stupid. I mean, I'm sure he is a reader. He has read, I guess, Tolkien and Game of Thrones, but really, the guy's way out of his league. I mean, again, it's just not his thing, DC or MCU. So I don't really trust him. I don't think he's believable, but I'm sure he actually does represent a huge swath of public opinion. They're like, Snyder failed. He was too dark. He failed us. Now we have the bright, sunny Jimmy, the Jimmy we always needed to be smiling. Superman needs to smile. Lois needs to smile. So the few main characters just smile and try to badly imitate Christopher Reeves and, hello, we're in paradise. Listen, I love the Christopher Reeves version, but that version is not really canonical. And I'm willing to give James Gunn a chance, but he is not doing himself any favors with this weird ass casting and still casting his own family. Really? I mean, really? Again, I don't dislike the actor, but he is not Maxwell Lord. And again, you can be flexible, you can play with things, right? We had Pascal as Maxwell Lord, but that was a radically different version, and at least it worked for that story. This thing is like, what are we doing? He promised the comics, but I increasingly am thinking this is becoming like the Amber Heard cinematic universe, and I only want a small part of it. And even that part of it, I'm having a lot of grave doubts about. Sorry.